So, big news that broke yesterday or the day before.
I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? Exciting,
Theo,
exciting, man.
interestingly, after the Burnley game, where let's face it, during that game there were moments where perhaps we would want to see a slightly better performance from Walcott, but I'm feeling pretty positive about this. I mean, initially when Walcott came to Southampton, the biggest issue, well, it's why he went to Everton in the first place, was wages. There was no way that we were going to be able to afford 175 grand a week on Theo Walcott. So ultimately, he went to Everton, and now he's on loan here, and we are basically paying half of those weekly wages, which brings him just above what Danny Ings is earning, which seems a little bit crazy. So it would appear that perhaps some discussion has been had that he's prepared to take a wage cut. I would suggest that's the case. And he just wants to finish his career at Southampton where it all started. So it's all a bit romantic, but I think there's value in this. I think that Theo definitely offers us something that is that extra level of class that we need, really. And for all the mistakes that he made on Sunday, and for all the things that he made us pull our hair out about, he was decent. He was very decent, and I think he adds an extra bit of pace despite, was he 32, 33 now?
Yeah, exactly. He must be 32 because he was.
I think he's. I think this is a good deal.
I remember 3-0 Walcott coming out like 2 years ago. So yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
I agree. I would probably say it's the more romantic side of me that's happy about him coming back, because I remember, when he was here the first run, he was so good for us. My uncle came this close to naming my cousin Theo. I remember it being discussed and argued. No, you can't name him after a footballer. And then he left, and it was like, no. So that I've got such vivid memories of his last run here, and now when he's come back, I feel like he's played better for us than he did when he was at Everton. The performances I saw at Everton, I've seen him play better for us. So I'm like, great, okay, so we've got so that's positive. And it's like, okay, but what about the injuries? Now the amazing thing is that this injury he's had is his hamstring. It's the first time he's ever injured his hamstring, and I find that unbelievable that this is the first time Theo Walcott has ever injured his hamstring.
Agree. For the sort of player he is.
And when you think about it, his injuries have been these big knee injuries and these big lengthy, the big ones. What we're seeing, what Smallbone's going through right now. It's it is bad, but but if Danny's shown us anything, you can come through the other side of that. And I think Theo's been great for the squad, and I think he's a player that we've been missing. At the beginning of the season, or maybe even last season, I said that our team wasn't mean enough, although it doesn't seem to be. He seems to be. He's not mean, but he brings this other perspective to this club. He just brings this, that mature head. It's Theo Walcott. Younger players in England look up to Theo Walcott, no matter if he lived up to his potential or not. Everyone likes Theo. I just love having him back. So whether he could be here and be the Steve Davis club captain, Brady plays a game, but he's at training and he's doing his role. I'd even have him as that if it's on a free and his wages aren't that ridiculous. But I think you're right. I think he loves being here. I love watching his interviews with him now when he's just talking about the club and waxing lyrical. I'm really excited for him to play in the FA Cup with us, like in the semi-final, because that's his. He's won those. He's won loads of them with Arsenal. So I'm excited to get him in that position. I would love to see Southampton win. Imagine like an FA Cup with Theo. That's such a good story. There's so much like that romantic side. We don't get a lot of romanticism at Southampton, really, do we? No. It is an old player coming back. That's about as good as it gets. But if we could end this season like that, it'd be like, oh my god, like this is the best thing. Danny, imagine like winning an FA Cup with Danny Ings, Southampton boy, Ward-Prowse from the academy, Theo Walcott back. It's like this is the dream.
Percy,
it's the dream. So I'm thinking ridiculously big, but I'm allowed to stuff.
Absolutely. But you bring a good point as well in terms of the experience that Walcott offers. I mean, he's played at Arsenal for so many years, and he's played at Southampton. He started his career there, so there's almost an element of that mature head that that sort of the player that is, a bit like Aurelio Romeo or a bit like Ryan Bertrand, these players that have played in other big clubs that can actually, perhaps, give a bit of helpful advice to young academy players to say, look, this is the good, this is the bad, and actually, this is what it means to play for Southampton. So I think there's so many positives within this, and if the board can make the numbers work, then great. Because love him or hate him, he definitely offers us an option, and I think looking through some of these comments, there's a few mixed feelings around that, but no, I see this as a good deal.
I just look at it romantically. Just come live in the chocolate world that I live in, where everything's sweet and sugary, and it's just all good vibes over here. Until he's absolutely ridiculous, like awful, and then we can start talking. But let's be honest, like he still got the assist on the weekend. It was a great assist.
Yeah.
The problem is it was so tainted from that one awful thing that he did, because it was terrible. Let's be fair.
Was it 3-on-1 defender or something?
And he messed it up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, have United scored? No, they've not. Somehow they've not scored. So at the same time, it's like, okay, but it was also his first game back, so I'm going to give him leeway regardless.
Mm-hmm.
He was in better positions again. Like he wasn't that bad. For the first game back, we won. He got an assist. Great, let's go from there. And I'm just excited to see him. Excited that it's on a permanent, because there's nothing worse than if we get to the end of the season and it all works out and it is fun with him, and then he has to go back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's nothing more heartbreaking. There's nothing more heartbreaking than that.
And I think quietly he was perhaps thinking that. I think he was thinking, I go on loan to Southampton with the view for something else, although it was never mentioned. But I just think that for the last, actually ever since he's been at Everton, I've never really seen him flourish. Do you know what I mean? He's never really sort of played within their squad as a kind of a star. It's not really worked out.
It worked. Even when it happened, I remember being annoyed then that he didn't come to Southampton, because I was like, why has he gone to Everton and not? This seems like the move. Why would he do that? And then when he went to Everton, he scored. I remember him scoring a few times and being like, oh, Theo's still looking good, but he just still looked like a continuation of the Theo from Arsenal.
Right.
Whereas here, it's a different. He's a different player.
He almost looks more ruthless, doesn't he?
He does, and I'm not saying he didn't, but it looks like he really cares. Right. It might just me being a mark for all these interviews that he does, where he waxes lyrical about us, and like I say, all the history. But I think he feels that too, and I'd rather have that in my players than a Danny Osvaldo.
Right.
It's just a good. It's just like I said, even with Ralph, I love the way he's gone through the entire squad. Like Ralph's so deep in the club now.
Yeah,
that it is Ralph. It is Ralph. It's Ralph Hampton, and I feel like Theo is a part of that history and a part of it. And it's just to have it all tied in. It just makes me all gooey inside.
Well, they clearly get on, don't they? I think Ralph and Theo and certainly the work ethic from both sides. They appreciate each other's angles in terms of what they're trying to achieve. And I think perhaps Ralph is impressed that someone of Theo's age is still able to have that amount of pace. The other thing I think is attracting Ralph to bring in Theo on a permanent is the fact that maybe he's looking at him as a versatile player. He could play him up front alongside, a striker of his choosing, or he plays him on the right wing.
Yeah.
It gives him another option.
He can go anywhere. And when you look at it almost player for player, it's something there for everyone. It's like, it's like Danny Ings, you've got an older English player who's had injury problems, and, Theo's relatable to that. You got, Small Bone, who's got the exact same knee injuries as Theo on the bench. Theo's going to help out with that. Ward-Prowse coming into the England squad. Theo's been to two World Cups he went to.
Yeah,
it's good for everyone in the squad. Even Redmond, a slightly aged. They must be close to. How old is Redmond? 29, maybe.
27, I think.
Is he? Is he that young?
Yeah, I don't think he's particularly.
I
think he was 12 when he joined the club. So
Yeah, but I mean, how old was he at Norwich then? He's 27. He's 27. So
I was right. Whee!
27. So again, a player close in 30 who's been in the league for a while. Who, let's be honest, has been occasionally has been blasted for their performance. And Theo's been in that position, so he can give something to everyone on and off the pitch. I've seen.
You're absolutely right.
When we score, he's got the biggest smile. That like when that Vestergaard goal where he pretty much just bowed it at Vestergaard and it went in. He looks as happy as I am at St Mary's.
Yeah.
It's a great place to be.
Yeah, and definitely the squad morale. So yes, we are super happy. So but it's interesting coming here from Dan. Just bring this up here. I like him to sign a permanent, but we don't know what the board's. We know what the board's like. Tyler and the Ducks. Yeah, if we sign him and turn around, we're not signing another forward, Minamino. Interesting thought there. Me showcasing how bad my reading is. If you had to pick, Jack,
Minamino.
Really?
Yeah, it's not. That's not a hard question.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Here's the thing. Like I said, it's all romanticism with Theo, and I love all of that. But Minamino he's still got that project. He's got that room to move. Still, he's still unlockable. He's 26, so there's more. You're going to have him for longer,
right?
Just for me, that probably be the way. And he's probably just as versatile. But with the next thing that we'll talk about, the next bit of news that's come out, I feel like that's not too much of a problem. I feel like people might be surprised this summer.
Yeah, that's a good thought. That's a very good thought. So, well, let's jump straight into that because I think that's an interesting topic there. But overall, we are very happy with the fact that Walcott might be joining on a permanent. So,
on the side note, I don't have to choose because we've got Theo now. It's all just about whether we get.
Yeah. Well, it's not a done deal as yet, but that is what they are discussing.
Would they be talking about it this much if it wasn't a done deal?
Well, I don't like to presume anything in football these days. This is you know what it's like. You don't invest your heart in moving because it can be broken. But overall, we would be happy with this deal, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely.